support, I have this level of resistance, and I draw that on my phone. And I always look at it.
On MetaTrader?
Yeah.
Oh.
So if I have it, for instance, if I have my trading view set up to this point right here, and this point right here, I have this level of support, this level of resistance, I'm waiting for that break and retest, all I do is put a line here, and you can draw boxes on your MetaTrader 4 on your cell phone. So then you're just waiting. And then when you're looking at your phone and you see that it breaks, you're like, okay, cool. You can keep checking on it like almost every 30 minutes to the hour and be able to wait for that retest. And once you see that retest, you enter. So it's like the same thing that you do when it comes to trading view. It's the same thing that you do when it comes to your charts on MetaTrader 4. And that's the reason why you just set it up. It's very simple. So it's like, yeah, you might not be able to have this whole movement, but the whole main point when it comes to trading is exactly what's happening here. Yeah. So this stuff is good to give you a history of what's happening. And this is like broken down into pieces of structure pretty much. And the most important part of these entire pieces are these movements, because it breaks a certain level. And then you wait for those retests, and then you enter. So here, if you're looking for this setup for Euro JPY, it's just simple, you're just waiting. Because the thing is right here, you don't buy unless it does what? It breaks the ceiling, becomes a floor. You don't sell unless it breaks the floor and becomes a ceiling, right? So then when this breaks right here, and you see it break the level of support, and you come up and it sits here and it starts to close underneath it, and you enter and this stuff starts to drop. Sorry, it starts to drop, then you take it and it's on your cell phone. You know, the thing is, what makes people become better, like the only difference that makes a lot of people become good at trading, in all honesty, is chart time. Chart time. You can watch all the videos that you want. You know, you could friggin', just learn from all different educators. But if you're not applying it, there's difference in when you like draw something up and it does exactly what you said it was gonna do. It gives you that validation and it becomes repetitive, it becomes subconscious. So now it's like, because waiting for these areas, if you saw this happen right here, like for instance this break, and you had this level of resistance here, and you saw it coming down to like retest right here, like how easy was that trade? If you really think about it. Break, boom, ceiling, floor, enter, and then how many pips? That was this on the daily?
Yeah, daily.
Yo. Yeah, so that was 1,000 pips right there. Well, about 1,100 pips. So 1,100 pips right there, and a 0.10 is $1,100. But if you do a standard, that's what?
110,000?
No.
11,000?
No.
Which one was it?
11,000.
I
know. So, but it's the same concept when it comes to this. Honestly, what I'm doing this week is I'm changing it up a little bit. So the thing is, it's like before I used to trade on the 1 hour. But then one thing that I started to realize, the more true trend that's a lot easier, so that you can still get those good entries, is the 4 hour. Because one thing that I've noticed is, like, say for instance, if it's the 1 hour, you see like these little movements that's happening on the 4 hour, it's just still green, you know. And then watching that perfect retest, then you can look on the hour and see that perfect retest and be able to enter. You know, trading is very simple. It's like we're just, dude, it's crazy how the daily just follows everything else. But yeah, the 4 hour. So like, let me go on the 4 hour real quick. So that way, it's just a lot easier for you to do in different increments. So if you're watching the 4 hour and you're watching this and how this sets up, it's simple. So it's like,
This looks like made 3 vector highs. Looks like it's about a double top.
so even right here. So like, say I have this, you see how the cursor's right here pretty much. Look at this. Is it? There you go.
Also looks like it's a divergence.
So look, so when I put this right here, this area of resistance right here, look at the 4 hour. I'm watching all this stuff happen, right? And the fact that it came down here and tested at this point would have been the difference maker if you just entering that trade right there perfectly and then going up. If you count how many pips that was what? Just from that point alone to up here was still 235 pips, which is still a good day, right? Comes back down, retests, it hits your stop profit, but then you re-enter again, you take that same trade. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So if you see right here, this area of resistance, and it breaks it, comes back down, it literally retests off of it, that ceiling now becomes a floor, you cut this whole entire movement, right? Same thing with over here. If you watch this area break, you watch this retest that happens, how perfect is that if you see it like on the 4 hour? You start to see multiple areas where it tested, like resistance, support, resistance, pretty much support. So the thing is, people always ask all the time, what areas of support and resistance do you utilize? It's the areas that was tested multiple times. And yeah, there's little tiny ones here and there, but it's like, look how many this touched. Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, pretty much support, and then support again. If that makes sense. So the fact that it's coming down and retracing, coming to this point, could have been the difference maker of you taking this and catching that piece. And when price breaks, it's perfect. So this, every single time it breaks a certain level. So say for instance it broke this level right here. You see it like
Retest.
break, it came back down and it retested perfectly. Right? And where it retests perfectly, if you look at the crosshairs, resistance as now support. Now it's here. So now this is a 4 hour, it's still stuck. So there should be no buying, there should be no selling unless it breaks this level or it breaks this level. That's it. Now the problem is that a lot of people aren't patient and they wait, they have to trade now, they have to trade now, they have to trade now. But you don't. You could be that person that watches everybody else lose money and get caught in like orders and anything like that. Why that person is being patient? You good?
What up, Chris?
What's up? You good?
That's cute.
Oh yeah. Alright, so say for instance like we'll go to another different currency pair, right? You gotta delete all these, hold on.
GJ.
I thought he was gonna bring pizza.
FXC. Shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, bro.
No, they saw the commute of a job and they're like, nah,
Yeah. It's not even that fucking funny.
What?
Actually, he lives kind of like where I live.
Whole thing right here, it's like, look, same thing. You know, this whole area, that break, test, could have got the whole movement, dude.
Bro, this is crazy.
That's
It is
why I love GJ, man.
Yeah.
Is that the day chart?
The JPY pairs are so predictable.
What chart is that, day?
That's the 4 hour.
That's a 4. Ooh.
Yeah, so like when you watch this huge movement, like you gotta think about in the hour, there's all these little intricate movements that's inside of these little candles. When you got the 4 hour, it's more clear. So the fact that this starts coming down here and starts dropping, coming all the way down here, and you look to your left, resistance, support, that's a strong area of its own. So the fact that it came and dipped into there and you took it, it would have been so easy to capture
That
that
was high
movement.
impact news.
Yeah, and then when price came back down here again, look, same thing. So now it's like over here trying to dictate exactly what's going to happen. It's like you could do this because it still could be honestly shifting into a downtrend because it did a shift in momentum, right? So the only way that could really like predict if it's really gonna, break above is if it breaks above these areas, if that makes sense. So here.
Is it favorable? Like from there?
Oh no, I'm just doing the naked one first, not
Okay.
like confuse everybody. Cool. We could do fiddles and stuff like that, but right
Alright,
now
looks
this
like
is just for everyone in the beginning. Like, if you make it this naked forex, it's simple. Like I didn't even do fib levels in the beginning.
How are you crying, bro? You good?
It's easy to cry like the trade. I like coughing. I could have made that trade. No, but so here it did a shift in momentum. So the thing is, for a lot of people, a lot of people looking at this an upturn or like a long-term buy because yes, it did come down here and hit and then broke and retested. But here's the thing: just watch it. This is what I do too as well. If it comes up to this point, no matter what, this is a strong area, correct? Because resistance, support. So that even if this comes here and you take a trade here, you're gonna catch 30 pips no matter what. No matter what, it's gonna drop 30 pips, and then it could take off and break above. So the thing is, when you're twin trading and you're doing like a trade, like yes, a lot of us are high risk traders and we go crazy and like we're gonna do all this crazy stuff. But if you want to be conservative and build your account properly, it's like right here. It's like as soon as it comes to this point, twin trade, 2 orders, 30 pips, close 1, stop loss, stop profit. And then that's it. You still collect the profit. And the point, 2 things are gonna happen. It's gonna tank, or it hits your stop profit. And if it breaks above, then you're just like, okay, now I know to watch for an area of this break in this area of resistance and previous support as testing. But at least I caught my 30 pips. That's the reason why I came with the whole twin trading aspect, anyways, because I got so tired of not guaranteeing myself profits. That was a problem. You could take a trade here. Say for this right here, boom, comes up, it hits, support, resistance, you take that trade, what's the worst that happens? It's your stop profit, but it didn't. And now it comes back up, say it hits your stop profit, whatever, it doesn't matter. So now what happens though is the fact that it breaks and hits your stop profit, it's like, it's poker, they're like revealing its cards, so it's like, hits that stop profit that's telling you, okay, well, I'm gonna be looking for a buy now. So the thing is, it's like you could always be on top of everything, if that makes sense. Because like wherever it moves to, as long as you're securing your profit and also protecting your other order, that's all that matters. So what you're doing is you're maximizing your profits and then you're minimizing your losses. I have people like sending me like screenshots, everything all the time. It's like, dude, like this technique is like you never lose if you really think about it. Because if you take a trade, even if it drops 10 to 15 pips and you do a 2-pip stop profit, if you're right, you're right. It's gonna drop. Right? If you're wrong, it'll hit it and it's whatever. You just wait. So you see how the breakdown of it is super simple. Now the thing is, like for instance, if you're gonna enter here, right? Let's say price broke and made this huge push downwards. The fact that it came up, this level of support, that was too easy. And then it broke, right? It came back up. Look, support, resistance, and then it dropped again. Then it broke again. Look at this support level, right? Came back up and it tested and it hit. Even if you took it, I bet you that's still more than 30 pips. Right here. Say for instance you did take it, break, come up, retest, and you still took it. That was still 140 pips. So you still would have collected 30 to 50 pips, changed stop loss to stop profit, and the fact that it came up and hit your stop profit was a dictation of you starting to realize now that, hey, inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder, you took 140 pips here, hits your stop profit on one order, breaks above, so now you're like, wait a minute. Then it comes back down and you don't enter until then. You master this, in all honesty, you could master buy limits and sell limits, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because now you put a buy limit here at this point, this little area, and it hits it perfectly. That's how you get the most accurate entries if you're not watching it. Then price comes up here, and like, where's the nearest area of resistance that it broke? Right here. And you're like, I almost set a buy limit here so I could go to sleep. Put a buy limit here, 20 and 30 pip stop loss. You wake up and your orders are just perfect and it's up here. How are you gonna feel when you wake up in the morning? You're gonna be like, dude, what? And then you see this break again, you look to your left, here's a resistance. You're like, well, let's see if it could even goes down to that level. I'll put another buy limit right there. You'll have orders here, and you're just like, dude, what's going on, man? Like, I know what's gonna happen in the markets. The problem is if we're impatient to do it, right? Look at this. Look at the trend. Look, you see how it breaks, test. Look at this, break, test. Look at this, break, test. This break of an area right here, like this whole area right here, even if through the zone, comes up, test. So it just keeps happening over and over again. You know, and you can see how you can start flipping your accounts by utilizing this, because the thing is, if you have entries here and it comes up and comes here, your equity is higher. So now you can take bigger lot sizes here. Bigger lot sizes. Bigger lot sizes. Hits your stock profits, perfect, whatever. Now you get the opposite. But then it starts coming back up, hits your stop profit. All right, let me wait for this to do a huge shift up here, but I'm looking at the support as resistance now, because I can see this coming down, coming back up again. Especially if I draw out the Fibonacci level just to see, right? Does that make sense? You can really backtest this whole thing. I don't know what I just did. What I just did.
No matter what, you can't lose money.
Oh, so you're saying if you've already made it, and in case it,
crap,
in case it kind of pulls back a little bit.
Right.
Is it hot in here? I don't know, like, what is this right here? You also gotta know too the difference between markets that are trending and non-trending. This to me is like disgusting. Oh my gosh, I got a cat.
That's Boo.
That's Lulu?
It's
The cat
Boo.
just come from
Boo
outside. The cat has his own cat door?
It's an outside. It's like a dog, bro. He's dog food.
Wow.
It's a weird fucking cat. I'll tell you that. much.
There's some in the front yard chilling in the car. Just picked it up and brought himself.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we never trained him, and he just found out how to piss himself outside. I guess.
So right here is like non-trending. You can see it bouncing back and forth. You can put a level of ceiling here and a level of floor, and you don't enter until it breaks that level, which it did. Right there, you know what I mean? Yes, it took a couple of times for this to happen. What I could do real quick is like this. Hold on. Dude, that's the session break, dude. That's like,
That's weird.
oh, dude. I'm gonna break my computer, dude.
Go to yeah, dude. This happened to me 4 times while I was marking up euro and.
And then you missed the trade. He was like, dude,
No, I was
no,
just-
wait, no, wait.
That's
oh,
your period
man.
separators?
Yeah, superior separators.
That's
I'm
weird.
just trying to show the difference of like how long it takes.
probably change the color
So what?
to gray, light gray. It'd be easier on the eye.
Whole movement. 1, 2, 3 days for it to come up. So are you willing to wait this breaks and then it goes 1, 2, 3 days for it to come up to grab this entire piece, right? Breaks this level. How many days did it take? It took 1, 2 days to go to that level. Comes back up again. 3 days to go back to that level again. Like yeah, it takes time, 2 or 3 different days, like 2 to 3 days to be able to enter these trade setups, but it's so worth it. This one only took about 2 days. This breaks all the way down. 1, 2, take it, drop, perfect, right? Right here, this breaks, that's 1 day, 2nd day, that's it. That's all it is. That's like literally how it's like, and this is without Fibonacci, this is without all the other indicators, all the type of stuff.
RSI.
You don't need a trade every
So-
single day.
For this trade, like the only reason why I'm looking for a short position here is because it did a shift in momentum. I mean, you see how price is shifted downwards like this, with this huge push downwards, it did a shift in momentum. So the movement up here, right? This is like 3 times bigger than the movement up here, correct? That's called a shift in momentum. Shift in momentum, come back up, catch everybody into long-term buy positions, and get everybody out of it. Let's start dropping.
That
Okay.
looks like it's about to hit the 61.8 too.
Yeah. Does it make sense? Does anyone have any questions on that?
Well, this is GJ, and GJ responds violently to North Korea news, and that could happen at any time, which would violently move upwards.
Yeah, that's what I said. You wait for a retest.
Oh, I know. I just meant like how you said it's gonna go down. I feel like it's
No, I
it
said
might go up
I'll-
on the.
No, I'm saying I'm looking for a short because of the shift in momentum. The price comes here. Now the thing is, only if it reverses. Like it's not based off just like I'm gonna say this is exactly what's gonna happen. No, I'm never gonna be that person that's gonna say this is exactly how this trade is going to happen because there's no way for anyone here to predict exactly where price is going to.
Right.
It doesn't matter because the news could affect anything. Here, if it just respects it, no matter what, even if it does drop a little bit, because it is the 4 hour, you will catch at least 30 pips. If it goes 10 to 15 pips in profit, change it to a stop profit. Now, if it reverses and it continues going up, then that's okay though, because it hit your stop profit, and now you're looking for a next area of resistance that it breaks for a buy. Either way, you win. Does that make sense? So, any questions on this, on like the breakdown of like, it's not really, I can't really say market structure. I don't know why, but Chris gets so mad when you say market structure. Because I guess that's Jason Stapleton's trademark for his classes or anything like that. With this, it's just being simple. It's just waiting. You know, you got to think about it like this. It's like even if price is moving to this point here, and how many people did cash it in buys, there's multiple opportunities. Yeah, it could start dropping or it could continue going up. And it all depends on how many orders are in what position. Because the truth is, the market goes based off what?
Supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. How many people are in short orders or how many people buy positions. Now here's the easiest thing to look at is you guys know about my FX book and the community outlook? You guys know, so check this out. FX book. So if you go to my FX book, this helps a little bit. Go to my FX book.
You can see 5 in the sellers.
See people bragging about how much money they made.
Just don't go on my history, bro.
You go to community. You go to where is it? Right here. Is it? With outlook. All right, so here you go. You have a community outlook. This is everybody that's connected to my FX book. It's not everybody in the world, okay? So say for instance, we're on GJ right now. Think about this. The market gives enough to get people to think a certain way. Buy, and then once they get enough people that are like in buy positions, they drop it. They give enough money to you to buy it, and once you buy it, they freaking yank you, right? So right now, if you look at JPY, you have 52% of people that are literally in positions for buy. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the moment it gets to like 60 or 70, and then it gets to that point, and then you get surprised on why it just drops, it's because you have over like 60, 70% of people is buying it. That's what they're doing. You know, well, how many times have you seen like every single time they're like, all right, and then you see it up, and then you buy it, and then it drops again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it comes back up, you buy it, like, okay, reversal, and then it drops again. And finally, the time you're like, you know what? I'm gonna sell it now. And the moment you sell it, it just takes off. Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's think about the psychological aspect. It's saying, okay, boom, we got all these sells. We're gonna fake out for a buy. Wait, no one's biting the buy yet. All right, let's keep them thinking it's a sell. Let's convince people it's a sell. Let's keep convincing people it's a sell. And once you have 70, 80% people in a sell, news hits. News always goes with the technicals. That's just the way it is.
Look at your CHF. Look how big that one is.
Euro CHF?
Yeah, near the bottom.
Oh,
3 up from the bottom.
Yeah.
There's tons of people in the cell.
Chris, are you ever gonna know the difference between like a pullback or a fake out, or and like do you ever just get screwed just randomly, or how do you know if it's gonna actually be a pullback or just follow the trend?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like say like it's going up, but like you obviously can tell by the trend lines that it's gonna either pull back or not. How do you know if it's? Because there's been times where I'm like, oh, this is a pullback, and I think it's gonna pull back and go back up, but it just keeps dropping. Like you.
No, so what happens is like you get to see huge shifts in momentum. So like you'll see like this price will break up,
Like huge.
and you see like literally coming down there like perfectly, like it's like a lot, but then it gets stuck at a certain position. That's when I start to see like, wait a minute, it's not breaking this area. That's when you use Fibonacci and you see it like say it breaks 61.8, but for some reason it's still staying around the area, right? If you see a huge push down, if you see like a small little pullback,
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
like-
was saying like, have you been screwed before to where you think it's gonna be a pullback, but it just completely switches directions? Like say it's an
Yeah.
uptrend, you think, oh, it's gonna be a little pullback when it's going down, so I'll place a buy because it's obviously like a fake out or pullback, but it just keeps going
no,
down.
not really, not lately. That past like when I first started, yeah.
I'm saying, does that just happen? Like you'll get screwed by that?
Oh, it
occasionally?
does, and that's the
You
reason
can't-
why I said as like a safety precaution for people. If you're up 10 to 15 pips, like for my personal self, I always put a 2-pip stop profit. That's just the way I do it. And people are just like, oh, why would you put a 2-pip stop profit? It come down there and hit there, and that means you got it wrong.
Mhm.
That means it's not moving. Because if it's gonna move in that direction, it's gonna move in that direction, right? There's one thing that I did take from Steve Morrow's methods, even though he like is a complete like waste of time, honestly. But he did say this: if you're not in profit in 2 hours, or you are in little tiny profit, and it's not that much, just take your profit or take the small loss, because it's not moving.
Right.
Okay, and don't get upset if you wake up and just pushed up.
Even as
You
a
know?
day trader, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're saying it to 2 or 3 hours and still stuck in the same position, just take the small loss. Like that's the only point. It's like getting to yourself to a point where you're so disciplined that that's just like the stuff that I'm doing right now. It's not normal. All right. Like everyone flipping accounts. That's just up to you if you're good. The thing is like I feel like it makes me a better trader. That's my personal self when it's high risk because I have to be right. Because if I'm a little bit 2 or 3 pips wrong, my whole account's blown. But then when you flip, it's like, dude, that's awesome. So like my main goal, just to let you guys know, is probably just flipping about to 20 to 30K, right? 20 to 30K, and then flipping it probably from, or actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take a trade, $500 investment, 100% match, so I could take 4 lots. The moment it hits a certain point, I'll take 4 lots. Once it takes 4 lots, it drops 100 to 200 pips, and then does a little retrace back up. I'll enter on like at least 10 lots. So my main point is like 2 or 3 different orders to get myself to 100 grand. But that's just like my personal plan. That's like, it's not like everyone's gonna do that here. You know, I'm not saying to do that because it's like you guys will risk your accounts because you guys don't know what you're doing yet. Practice first and get the trades right to make yourself feel more comfortable. But like, I just like, we were talking about this today. I don't know, I like C-type goals. Bob Proctor talks about A-type, B-type, and C-type goals. The problem is that we limit ourselves to our limiting beliefs of what can be accomplished.
Yeah.
But all the stuff that we've done when it comes to flipping, why are people so amazed by it? Because it's not natural. Well, who's crazy enough to think they could do it are the ones that do it, right?
Right.
So that's the thing. The reason why I'm doing it is just because I'm just telling myself I can.
Right.
To show myself that like my vibrations and frequencies, I can accomplish that. The moment I have $100,000 in a brokerage account, I'm pretty much pulling out probably about just 20K, keeping 80K in there, and from now on, everything's gonna be proper risk management. So for every $10,000, one standard. That makes sense. So if I'm over here at $80,000 and I'm doing 4 lots and then 4 lots, catch 30 to 50 pips, take 1 order out, change out the stop loss to stop profit, I'm building my account the right way. And that's when I'm gonna be doing it like surgically, like literally like perfect. Only 2 orders, 1 standard per 10,000, and that's just the way it is. Right now, I just know that I have the skill set to make it big and just cut out that 6 to 8 months of time So that way I could just have that $80,000 account, just do 40 or four lots.
So why don't you just keep doing it if it's working?
Because I don't want to risk it anymore.
Okay.
So it's working. Like the moment, like the thing is, I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I get there and I get 100 grand. That's my goal. And from now on, it's like I want to trade forever on this account and live off this account. That literally, even if I just think about this for a second, if you do 4 standards and catch 300 pips or catch 30 pips, right? And the other one goes 100, 200 pips. What happens? So one standard for 300 pips is 300. The least that you'd make every single day is $1,200. Would you guys be happy with $1,200 a day?
Oh yeah.
You would be, right? What's the most that could happen? Say it drops 100 or 200 pips and you sold it. What's 4,000 or 4 lots? 100 pips is 4,000. So anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 a day. So the worst that could happen is $1,500. Did I say that right?
12, yeah.
$1,200, right? But the most that could happen is anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 a day. Think about the compound effect behind that.
Right.
So even then, even just me taking 2 or 3 trades a week, I'm still making more than 20 to 30 G's a month. If you think about it, because I'm gonna wait for those higher time frames, waiting for those retests. If that makes sense, and also those pullbacks on Fibonacci combined with all our technicals. The truth is, like, I'm done with the flipping accounts, and I'm ready to take it to the next level, so that way I could trade multi-million-dollar PAM accounts. So I could sit there and just be like, all right, cool. Like, I have 2 or 3 different PAM accounts that I'm trading. I'm getting 4%. I get 40% of every single person's stuff. That's how you make the big money, you know? So I got to a point that I was like, all right, I'm good at the skill set now. I mean, like, I can flip money whenever I want, but at the same time, I want to be a professional in this industry and be a legend in it. It's just the same thing when it comes to network marketing. The truth is, excuse my language, but we start off like pretty much like fuckboys in the industry. If you think about it, we're just like, oh, we're cool, we make money, blah, blah, all this type of stuff. Like, it's whatever. But the moment that you step into the professional aspect, when you start suiting up and dressing up, did you guys not notice that the events started actually getting more professional? That people started taking you more seriously? You know, that's just the honest truth. You know, I'm not saying I'm not gonna stop. Like, I like dressing comfortable, no matter what. But at the same time, at these events, you know, I gotta get to a certain point where this level of professionalism is at another level. So that way you could attract professional people also, you know, and like awaken people's, the whole professional aspect, if that makes sense. So when it comes to trading, how can I tell you guys to do proper risk management if I'm over here risking my account every single time? My whole goal is just 100K, doing the 100K in 3 orders. That's just my goal. That's just like, I actually said 2 orders, but whatever. It's all my affirmations. You're 2 orders away, with your trading strategy, you're 2 orders away from 100,000. Whatever. What if I only make 60,000? You shoot for the stars, you land in the skies, right? For anyone that's trying to hit Chairman 10, you should be acting like you're a Chairman 25, Chairman 50. So that way you attract everything else. It's just like when they said in the military all the time, you want to be E6, or if you want to be E4, E5, or E6, act like you're E7, E8. And then what happens? Like, you end up becoming that person. It's just like everything else in life.
Yeah.
So if I do that, have an account of 80,000 to 100K, even if I had 100K in my account, what am I doing? 5 standards and then 5 standards? The worst that I make is what, $1,500 to $2,500 a day, or $5,000 to $10,000 a day. Can you live off that account?
Easily.
If you said, you know what, I want to do a freaking down payment for a car right now, whatever, but this week dictates that. You make 10, 20 grand that week, you're gonna go get that car. You say like, but you're able to do that, you mean? And then eventually it's gonna get to a point where, think about 2 or 3 years from now, when you have 500K, you would have way more than that, honestly. You have 100K and you keep doing that in the compound effect, you have over $1 million by the end of the year. Now think about that for a second. Over $1 million, you're gonna be doing what?
You'd have it in 10 weeks.
Exactly. So 50 lots, 50 lots. What's 50 lots on 30 pips?
Holy shit.
So 50 lots on 100 pips is what? You can't even do that, man. I can't even do that. 50. It says, so what? Let's say 5 standards for 100 or for 30 pips is what? 1,500, right? For 30 pips.
50 lots for 30 pips is 15 grand.
So 15 grand is the worst that you can make that day
Wow.
off $1 million account, right? But the thing is, if you're doing 50 lots and it goes up 100 to 200 pips, you're making what? 50 grand to 100,000. So you could be making $100,000 days.
Crazy.
You see the power behind this?
Yeah.
So we treat this like a professional entity, it's fine, and keep building your account. yes, in the beginning for every single person, I highly for you guys, anyone that's starting out with 200 to 500 bucks, doing literally a 0.01 per $100 in your account. You want that perfect account in the beginning? Well, guess what? In the beginning, yes, you might be making 30 to 50 bucks per trade, but making 100 to 200 bucks, that's good. That's fine. And then eventually your account goes to $2,000. $2,000, now you're doing 0.2 zeros. And you keep doing that over and over again. It sucks in the beginning, and honestly, I kind of feel like it's also our fault for all of us that have flipped and made some big money, because then it like makes everybody else like, oh, we want to get to that, but don't think like that. Don't think about other people's profits. Think about your own profits.
Right.
Like you're on your own little island. You know, the moment that you focus on everything that you learn from everybody else, and then you're on your own little island to do the best way that you feel that you're doing yourself, then you'll do just fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So trading is really easy. It's just the discipline factor that kills us. You know, I'm telling you right now, all the times that I've lost trades is because I was greedy. I forgot to set stop profits. Like it all could have been mitigated, 100%. So it's like, dude, if I just set that 2 pip stop profit after, 30 to 50 pips, I could have saved the other order. I wouldn't have lost anything at all. If I freaking just twin traded, I mean, like everything is all based off discipline, your emotional aspect behind everything, and also the lack of being patient. You feel obligated to trade. Don't be that person that's just like, it's Sunday, let's all trade now, the market is open. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you have a trade set up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if you have a trade set up, and you see it and it breaks that level, look, how many people are in percentage or sales right now? You said for this?
It was like 91%.
It's gonna break above. It's gonna break above.
It looks like it.
It's gonna give a little bit. It's gonna give a little bit.
It looks like it's hitting
and they're gonna hit that resistance, probably at support.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna take off. It's gonna catch everybody in the cells, get to like a majority of people, and it's just gonna take off. And guess what? Let it take off, wait for that retest, and then you buy it. Because this is what they do. Say for instance it comes here, everyone starts selling it, and it goes up, like, oh dude, we gotta buy it. Then they start buying it, then it drops back down to retest. They start, oh, okay, wait, maybe if I held my sell there, I can put more cells here, and they got cells, they're waiting for these to be released. It comes up again. You know what I'm saying? It's all psychological factor. If you look at it, it might look enticing, but just take a couple steps back and say, okay, what is it really doing right now? Is it enticing people for a sell? It is. It's giving people here hope that sold it and then went up. They're like, okay, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And right before it even goes down there, it just takes off and continues going. And you're just like, come back. Like, no, like, you want it to come back, but it's already screwed you. So it's very simple. This is 4 hour. This is too choppy for me on the 4 hour, honestly. This is like Wick Central. Hence the reason why not that many people trade this. You see how many wicks there are? Look at this. Imagine being stuck over here.
The spread is 13 pips.
Still, because it's
That's
not that many
AIDS.
percentage of people that's actually.
That's totally AIDS.
Yeah, so with this, it's like, what does that even mean?
Huh?
What does that mean? Is that like some lingo?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is that
Is
good or
it
bad?
bad?
Awful. Oh, it's awful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Chris, when you trade like four standards, do you do the